Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Thursday evening of mini league action hosted by our very own RWB International. Tonight, you are in for a 5 series action-packed evening of racing across 5 different locations. So tonight, we've got Hockenheim Ring short layout coming up. We've got Brands Hatch, the Indy layout coming up. We've got the Nutstrap Ring Grand Prix layout, followed by the Speedway Loswitz DTM short layout, followed by the Moscow Raceway Sprint layout. Ranging from in the morning, so sunrise, through to the morning, through to the afternoon, through to sunset. The guys tonight are driving a DTM 1995 Mercedes. Quite a handful, this car. Pretty difficult to drive, but plenty of poke, plenty of performance. Should make for some interesting battling. Everybody in the same car, which means the playing field is somewhat leveled. However, for the mini league, we do run a ballast system that's currently going through a first initial iteration. It's coughing up some odd results every now and again, but it just adds to the sort of randomness and funness of this particular league. So out there tonight, based on last week's results, we've got guys ranging from 100 kilograms of ballast added to their car, all the way down to 0 kilograms of ballast. Currently, 19 runners from last week's race. So out there tonight, you've got FX UK, who will be running 100 kilos of ballast. You've got Charger running 94. We've got Rigel running 89 kilos. Mark Bean running 83 kilos. Jake Moore, the resident alien, who did have 100 kilos last week, now running 78 kilos. So he's going to be right up there this week. Rodders with 72 kilos will be right on Jake Moore's tail during the evening's racing. Debug, who isn't racing tonight, it would seem, so we'll skip over Debug. Orange, again, I don't think he's out there right now, but Rick Binnisley is currently in 12th on the roster. He will be running 50 kilos of ballast tonight. Who else we got? So Rigel, where's Rigel? Well, we've already done Rigel. Fergie, so Ferguson will be running no ballast tonight, so she should be in for a good evening tonight. Cos has got 22 kilos of ballast on tonight, and that's about it. Everybody else should be fairly clear. So I've got a special format to bring to you guys tonight. So I'm going to talk through qualifying and just introduce and obviously do the introductions and whatnot. But later on tonight, during the qualification for the next races in this series, I'll be dragging somebody down at random to come and chat with us in the commentary box, in this dirty, sweaty, horrible commentary box. And that should hopefully add a little bit of variety. I am on my own tonight, so I'm just going to be pulling the guys down to have a little chat with us during the evening. So that should hopefully bring a bit of variety and give me a break from droning on all evening. So a little bit of a damp squib in terms of numbers out there tonight. So normally we run a field of about 20 to 25 people during Thursday evening on the track, but seems we've only got 12 out there tonight. We've got the usual suspects though, so Rigel Cos, Rick Binnisley, Gretschel, who's with Zero Force Racing. Let's get Gretschel up. So Gretschel. Then we've got Stefano Marazzi, who we've seen before from Ballast Racing Team. Fergie our Irish mate from over the sea, Alex Kruger from another Zero Force Racing competitor out there, a staple in these Thursday night mini league races. RWB Nidge or RWB Nigel, really fast this guy. I would love to see Nigel bring in the fire tonight. As he's seen coming, he's just coming over the line now, I believe. Let's see what time he puts in. So that's a 105.9. I don't think he's running any ballast. I don't have any numbers for ballast for Nigel, so he should be one of the faster guys out there tonight, hopefully. You know, fingers crossed for him. Rick Binnisley then in the yellow livery, just coming over the line. And he's just put in a 106.427, and that's solidified his position at 9th on the grid. Obviously running a good old race. Let's get on board with Rick. So, as we see him almost run into the back of somebody there in the red livery, looks like he's had to bin that lap. Oh dear, somebody else has come off there as well. Looks like they're pushing a little bit hard into T1, it would seem, as we see him almost come rejoining somebody's path there. Take it easy. And we see him lose the back end. So clearly the comments about these cars being a little bit of a handful sort of coming to fruition there as we see Rick struggling to keep it on the grey stuff. So back from a little bit of a hiatus, he's just had new windows put in. Old Jake Moore, Resident Evil, one of the fastest guys in the club, as we see him go spinning off. Looks like he's had a bit of a rough qualification session. Maybe not gelling with the car quite so much as he'd like. But Jake, stupendously fast. His other name is obviously Speed Demon, and he's known as the Resident Alien. So great to see him out there and racing again after having probably a couple of months off. Actually, it's he seems to be making a bit of a comeback now, and I don't know that he's going to be racing in the GT2 league that we've got coming up after the Formula 1 league. So 30 seconds of qualification left then. So we've got Rodders on pole with a 104.5. That's 1/10 better than Rigel, who's got put in a 104.6. Excuse me. Then we've got Gretschel in third, Kruger in fourth, Dave Crew in fifth, Nigel, RWB Nidge, just putting a flying lap up into third, Fergie up into fourth now, Gretschel down into fifth, Alex Kruger into sixth, Dave all the way down in 7th now, followed by Cos, followed by FX UK, Charger in 10th, Rick Binnisley in 11th, and Stefano Marazzi in 12th, with Jake Moore not actually managing to put in a lap. I guess he's wanting to challenge himself for the upcoming race. So 60 minutes of garage time then, guys. Just a little opportunity for them to gather themselves, get themselves ready for what is going to be 8 minutes of elbows out, balls to the wall, flat out racing. Really important to qualify well for this mini league series because the races are so short. You can get half the race done in qualification by just getting up the front, and that'll give you a much better chance of actually winning the race. But yeah, these are flat out, full, intense races. 20 seconds to go then, as everybody's starting to come onto the grid. We're just waiting for one person now, I think, just to fill in that back spot. Who's it going to be? He's got 10 seconds. Come on, clock's ticking. Time to get in there. Massive crowd out there tonight. Pack the stands, not as packed as we'd like to see, but plenty of people to come out to see this. Red lights then. 8 minutes on the clock. And they're off. So we've got Rodders up in first. We've got Rigel down in second, followed by Nigel Wood in third as we see them coming into T1. A little bit of jostling around going at the back as we see Rodders take a healthy lead into T1 there, followed by Rigel, followed by Nigel, who's side by side coming into T2. Looks like Nigel's got the inside line, but Rigel will have the outside line, so the inside line coming to the left-hander, but he's given up a position there to Ferguson, jostling into T2. Rigel then pushed up into second. Oh no, it was Nigel that went down into fourth. My apologies, son. It was Rigel that had the inside line, and Nigel that has actually gone backwards there. I do apologise. So Rodders and Rigel then leading this race as we speak right now. This is the shorter layout, so we're already coming up to lap 1. About a minute and a minute 5 per lap. So going to be 8 laps to go, 8 or 9 laps, depending on how fast these guys can get round. Rudders with a 6/10 lead. Then on Rigel, pushing really hard, sort of leaving Rigel not in the dust, but he's obviously pulling a fairly decent lead already. As we see Ferguson trying to challenge Rigel, coming into T1, then a really fast right-hander into a slow, heavy on the brakes into this right-hander, then watching the back end doesn't get too squirrely, push it out wide here, and then into this left-hander coming up onto a straight. Oh no, this is a slightly different layout, my bad. Yeah, this is a back straight actually. Yeah, so you've got a short left-hander here into a right-hander, back onto the main course now. Yep. So this left, then right. So back on the main course now. This fast sweeping right-hander, get it up on the curb and on the left into the parabolica. Then this is the penultimate corner. So nice parabolica into a sort of left kink here, and then a right sweep, a sweeping right-hander. As we see Rodders holding that 4/10 gap back to Rigel. On board with Jake Moore then as we come over the line, so he's worked his way up from 13th into 9th then. So our resident alien, who is carrying 78 kilos of ballast on the rear end of Charger, is going to do him on the brakes coming into this slow right-hander. As we see Charger have taken a little bit of a defensive line there to try and block Jake from coming around him. Let's look on the back of Charger, so there we can see Jake Moore challenging that beautiful white and silver liveries. He tries to go around the outside into this right-hander, but he's not managed to make that stick, with Charger managing to hold him off, but Jake is all over him. Looking to do now on the brakes coming into the parabolica. Is he going to be able to get him? No, he's not managed to get around him again. Charger doing a really good job there of defending and holding Jake back. Up front, then I know it's difficult with the liveries here, but we've got, this is Ferguson challenging Rigel for 2nd place. So on board with Fergie, then coming into the fast right-hander. That's Rigel there. A fairly large amount of braking there coming into that right-hander, making sure they don't lose it. It's a fast right-hander, and the car can get very unsettled over the curbing. It looks like Rigel's managed to hold Ferguson off, but Ferguson is right up his arse, and the battling that you can see there, that's Rodders off in the background in 1st place. The battling that these two guys are doing is giving Rodders a little bit of clean air and allowing him to slowly but surely extend that gap. He's up to nearly a 2-second gap now, so Rodders is pulling this away. As we see Ferguson not necessarily making a mistake, but not being able to carry quite so much speed through some of those tight twisty corners there, and Rigel getting away from him just a smidge, but he will have the draft coming in over the straight now. So this is onto the straight. That's another lap down. Rodders pulling away with a 2-second lead. Ferguson chasing down Rigel. Keep it up. Back on board with Jake Moore then. We're watching this battle between Speed and Charger. So Charger's still not managed to. So Jake's still not managed to get around Charger. Charger doing a fantastic job holding him off. Charger is carrying. Which ballast is Charger carrying? Let's have a look. It doesn't look as. Oh no. So Charger carrying 94 kilos. So he's got a significant weight penalty compared to Jake. So it seems as though Jake should have the upper hand, and that sort of just show that Jake is significantly, he's the fastest guy in the club basically, so he shouldn't have any problem, lapping faster than Charger. But he's got to get around him, and it does look as though Charger's managing to hold him off. So he's doing a great old job. Two and a half minutes to go then, and we're just going to catch up with Nigel. So on board with Nigel, we can see off in the distance there, that's Ferguson challenging Rigel coming into the fast right-hander. This is Nigel trying to catch up, trying to close that gap and get back into that fight for a podium, as we see Ferguson pushing up the inside of Rigel then, very clearly he wants to sort of get this sign sealed and delivered and get around him, but Rigel putting up a good old fight and keeping him off. But that is allowing, again, Rodders to continue to extend that gap all the way up to nearly 3 seconds now. So anything short of a huge mistake from Rodders. It looks like Rodders has got this sign sealed and delivered. But, Ferguson challenging Rigel, looking to make his move. Back on board with Jake Moore then, watching him challenge Charger. Still not managed to make that move stick, as we see him lose quite a bit of rear traction coming out of that parabolica, as we see him coming around the final turn then. So here we go onto the straightaway. He's going to have the drive coming out the corner. He's got less ballast than Charger, but it looks as though Charger's managing to hold him off. He seems to have got a smidge more drive in a straight line than Jake. Maybe there's a fuel discrepancy between the two, but Jake not managing to make that stick, as we see Charger go wide. The Charger's gone wide there, and that's allowed Jake Moore to get through into 7th place. So he played the long game, he played the waiting game. He managed to hold him off, but 2 laps before the end, unfortunately, wasn't able to hold him off. 40 seconds on the clock there. We're just going to quickly catch up now with FX. So we saw FX. Charger was in front of Jake Moore earlier, but this has now meant that FX has been able to close that gap, as we see Jake pushing off into the distance. Excuse me. So this is FX now challenging Charger. He's managed to close that gap. FX carrying the maximum amount of ballast, so he's carrying 100 kilos of ballast. He's going to have a tough old time getting around Charger. Back on board with Ferguson then. So Ferguson, this is the battle for second, as we see him do a little bit of a shunt. It looks like Ferguson's waiting there for Rigel to get his position back, and that has allowed Nigel Wood and potentially Alex Kruger to take those positions. So that is unfortunate, but he did the right thing by waiting and letting Rigel through. Oh, as we see, is that Ferguson? Oh dear, yeah, it looks like maybe Fergie got a little bit excited there and potentially hit into the back of Alex. That is unfortunate. Back on board with Rodders then. So Rodders should be coming around the final turn. Yep, so this is it. This is the final turn then of the final lap, as we see Rodders take the win. Congratulations to Rodders. A commanding lead there with a sort of 7-second lead as that battle behind him unfolded, as we see Nigel Wood take 2nd, Rigel take 3rd, Gretsch will take 4th, Alex Kruger take 6th, FX in 7th, Charger in 8th, and where's Jake? So Jake Moore coming up, bringing up the rear in 10th. So sort of clearly something went wrong for speed there. Cars bringing up the rear, strong steady cars in 11th. Nice flourish there, and we see Dave Crew bringing up the rear in 12th, and somewhere way off in the distance is Rick Binnisley, but it doesn't look like he's going to get time to finish. So race winner then, Rodders. Congratulations, Rodders, with the fastest lap as well. Good stuff. So as I promised, I'm going to drag somebody down for a chat then during qualification. So who's it gonna be? 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 Charger. Good evening, Charger. You are live on stream right now. Please don't say fuck or bugger. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
All right, thank you very much, mate. You looked like you had a good race there. You were so we got plenty of footage during that one. It was you and Speed battling, so you and Jake Moore. What was going through your head while you were holding him off?
His car, pretty much. He was all over me. So I was. We were just talking about it before he dragged me down there. He was saying you were just putting your car in the right places. He couldn't get past, And then I had a bit of a momentary lapse. And then, I was really. They're really nice cars. Manic. You're on the boil. Yeah,
it looks as though in qualification, a few guys were getting a bit untidy, shall we say, losing the rear end and getting on the grass and whatnot. Are these cars pretty hard to drive then? No, I'm assuming there's no traction control and no ABS in these.
There's both, funny enough.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, they're not difficult to drive. There is a lot of counter steering going on. You know, the cars, they're very drivable on the limit. You get the back end out, but it's very easy to correct. You know, if it's gone the way it will shift. But yeah, I think they're really, really nice to drive. They are. You've got to be right on them, though. You know, they're not a lazy drive.
That's fair enough, mate. Yeah. So you're in the dime in the red livery, right? Yeah. So we've got you on camera right now. Do you want to take us around for a little drive during qualification?
Certainly can. Just a sec.
Yeah, we're just counting over now. Then, so we're just transitioning now from practice. We've had a minute of practice just to get everybody into the lobby. We're now transitioning to qualification. I should say that we are now at the Brands Hatch Sprint layout, I believe.
Yeah, because we haven't got Brands Hatch Jeeper.
Oh dear, fair enough. Right, so we're on board with Charger then. We've got 6 minutes of qualification. And we're going to have a little drive around with Charger then. So we're in the passenger seat, Charger. Are you able to talk us around as you drive?
I will do my best.
All right, well, don't strain yourself. I can do that if needs be.
Oh, I think I just speeded in the pit lane. Oh, they really want to push the back end round there.
So yeah, coming down the T1, it's that into that sort of gully area. I should know the names of these corners, but I really don't. I'm absolutely crap at corner names, but yeah, quite a famous one, that T1 at Brands Hatch. Famous for getting the car all unsettled because of the elevation change. So this is it then, the final corner, very short round here. So what that must be less than a minute for a lap, but full pace
well
then. So
yeah. Trying to get a bit of distance.
So that's him flat out over the line then. So first lap on board with Chargers. We've seen him come into T1. This is qualification. Looks like there's quite a bit of traffic on track at the moment, but it's not going to stop him. So pretty tidy through there. Coming into the parabolica, around, down, back down the hill into this fast left-hander. It's just a little dab of the brakes, down a gear, hit that curve, push it out wide. Very nice, very tidy that, mate. Well done. As we see somebody go flying off the track then. Fast left-hander into this S's then, so it's a left into a right, into an extended right. Really tough on the brakes, this one, and tough on the front left. Again, as we see someone else get a little bit untidy there and come passing off. Go flying off as we see Charger now coming over the line with a whopping 48.6, and that has put you on 7th on the grid. Not a bad first lap, that, mate.
Yeah, I reckon I could do a bit better.
Yeah, you were competing with other cars there, weren't you? But a bit of clear air now, so Charger's got clear air, enough space to put something together.
Oh, I want to took that curb.
Commentator's curse.
Yeah, that curb's deadly.
Well, they managed to get it back on track then, so quickly get back round, get round for another lap. You've actually moved down to 11th place now in Charger, down into 12th, so gotta find something special, my man. I'm gonna give you the time, and give you a little bit of dead air to focus and concentrate. I'll see you in a minute. Very tidy, mate. You're up 2 positions. Well done. Has he got another one in him then? So up into 12th place then. Still quite a bit to go now. 2 minutes of qualification left, so maybe another 2 laps. So got to make this one count. Looks like Rudders is actually putting a 46.5. Is actually was on pole, but it looks like Jake Moore has actually got his finger out this session and is putting a 46.5. So 46 seconds a lap is pretty intense. It's just all go with a tiny little couple of tiny straights for brakes to sort of gather yourself for until you have to push for another lap. So that's a 47.881 from Charger. Looks as though that's putting 10th on the grid, and he's throwing in the towel.
Yeah, I can't. I got 94 kilos as well, which is helping round those corners.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, so looking at the ballast table, you are literally the 2nd heaviest guy out there right now. So the only guy heavier than you is FX, who I will say has managed to put in a slightly faster lap than you. So he's the guy to beat, really.
Yes,
but you know, it's not about winning, is it? It's the taking part that counts. So as we're moving from qualification then into the race, thank you so much for joining us, Charger. I'll put you back in just a second. I'm just going to get through this rundown then. So we've got Jake Moore in 1st, we've got Rodders in 2nd, Gretschel in 3rd, Ferguson in 4th, Nigel Wood in 5th, Rigel in 6th, FX UK in 7th, Cos in 8th, Alex Kruger in 9th, our VIP, our guest right now, in 10th, with Charger, Stefano Marazzi in 11th, Rick Bennisley down in 12th, Dave Crew in 13th, and a newcomer, Mike Bull, in 14th. So congratulations, Charger, on your 10th place in qualification. Good luck for the race, mate, and I'll see you at the after-race party.
Yeah, cheers.
So hats off to Charger then. Thank you very much for joining us in this sweaty, horrible commentary box. 45 seconds of a garage time to go then. Again, you know, guys, just having a little break, quick nip to the toilet, quick sip of the brew, pat on the wife's butt. And so everybody's out there in red lights, 8 minutes on the clock. And we're off. So off we go with Jake Moore in the lead, Rodders in 2nd, Gretschel in 3rd, Rigel in 4th, and Ferguson up into 3rd now. So actually Fergie up into 3rd. So Fergie's made some impressive moves there as we see him push a little bit wider. Oh, there's a bit of contact there in the background. So who's that? Looks as though that's a huge mess. Oh God, quick. Big battle between Ferguson and Rigel, with Fergie unfortunately just running into the back of Rigel and having to give up some time to let Rigel reclaim his place, and that cost them both a couple of positions in the last race. But they're back battling again. So we've got Ferguson following in Rigel. Ferguson challenging Rigel this time. So fingers crossed for Fergie. Let's hope he can make something of it this race. 45 seconds a lap. So it's going to be fairly quick. Not a huge amount of overtaking opportunities around here. I would probably say T1's a definite no-show. You got to keep it nice and tidy coming into T1. It's this quick, flowing, sort of trail-breaking corner. This is probably the only place where you can make it stick. You've got to get them on the brakes, up the inside, and just try and outbrake them. This fast left-hander, another place where I would say there's not really much overtaking opportunity here, because you're on the brakes all the way to the apex. As we see, who's that? That's Jake Moore. Spun out, is down into 4th, 5th. Where is he? Where is he? Come on, let's get the cameras on him. There we go. So Jake Moore down into 8th place. That's unfortunate. Speed. Keep it on the great stuff, lad. Oh, well, we know you're better than this. Pull it together, lad. And try and reclaim some of those. Positions. What I will say though is obviously with Speed coming off, that does mean he's now got to bring his A game to try. Oh, as we see him go off again. What has happened? What is going on? So Jake Moore all the way down into 13th. Is he let somebody else drive that thing? What is going on? Has he got a problem with his navigation computer? Oh dear. He must be I don't know, he must have patched his UFO navigation computer or something, and he's obviously running into some bugs, because this is very unusual for Jake. So hard luck, mate. Better luck next race. So just got to give our race leader some time of day. So, you know, Jake was on pole, with followed by Rodders, but it looks as though obviously with Jake having those couple of offs that we saw, that again has allowed Rodders, our head honcho, who won the last race, by the way, to slowly but surely eke out another phenomenal lead now. So 3.8 seconds back to Rigel. Rodders is carrying 72 kilos of ballast, so it's pretty phenomenal. But Rigel, who's obviously his closest competitor on the track right now, is carrying 89 kilos, so a significant difference in weight, but not enough to account for that 4-second gap. But we do know that Ferguson, who we're riding with right now, has been challenging Rigel during the vast majority of this race, and that obviously meant that Rigel's got to play the defensive game, and again that's giving Rodders, as we saw in the last race, the opportunity to pull away. As we see Ferguson having a sniff up the inside coming into T2. Like I said, that's really the only place you've got to make an overtake happen. The only thing you can do really is try and force your opponent into an unforced error. That doesn't make sense. Is hope that your opponent makes an unforced error, and you give you an opportunity to get around them. But there's not really anywhere else you're going to be able to make anything stick, I think, given that if your opponent's sort of evenly matched from a pace point of view. Jake Moore then clawing his way back from last place up into 12th. He's just overtaken FX. FX obviously carrying the maximum amount of ballast out there tonight, so he's got 100 kilos on board. As we see FX slowly but surely sort of being left in the dust, as we see Jake again pushing up the inside then of Mike Bull, the newcomer who I've not actually seen before. I do apologise, Mike, you're new to me. If you get an opportunity after the race to come and say hello in Discord, please do make yourself known. It'd be great to get to know you. As we see Jake lose it again. What is going on? Is somebody else driving that thing? Has he let the co-pilot have a go at the controls in his UFO? What is going on with Jake? Pull it together, lad. As we see Fergie then, so Fergie's clearly had some sort of incident earlier, or he's got embroiled in a bit of a war. We did see that Rigel was playing defensive. That meant that the guys behind them were able to catch up, and it looks as though something's happened while we were watching Jake earlier. It's meant that Ferguson has dropped down from 3rd into 4th, but also Rigel has dropped from 2nd into 3rd, as we see our friend from Zero Force, Dirk Gretschel, move up into 2nd place. And he's now got a hell of a job. He's only got a minute and a half to chase down Rodders, who's managed to pull a 7-second gap. So Rodders well away as we see him come around T2. As we see these guys just coming into T2 now, and Rodders is all the way around T3. So they've got a hell of a lot of catching up. Although one little slip from Rogers and they will get him. But there's no way. I mean, he could take his foot off the gas, pull over, have a fag, have a swig of coffee, get himself a drive-through, get back in the car, and he'd still have a commendable lead. So Rodders really running away with it right now. So well done, mate. Nigel Wood then challenging Cos, who's moved up into 4th position. So quite the surprise there then. So let's get on board with Cos then. So Cos, it's got Nigel Wood coming up his inside into T1. Nigel pushing up there, so we can see he's left the door wide open for him as Nigel goes very, very sort of shallow on that in corner. But it looks like Cos has got the drive on him coming out of T1 then. So played the safe game and just kept it wide, and that meant that Nigel, who went for the shallower line, obviously didn't quite get the drive out of T1, and as that's allowed Cos to hang on to that 4th place for now. Rodders then on the penultimate lap, coming over the line, 10 seconds still to go, then he's getting onto his final lap of the race then, so he's clearly, he's pulled nearly an 8-second gap now to Gretschel, so Gretschel's struggling to close that gap as we see Rigel in 3rd place, trying to get back that place on Gretschel, followed by Cos, who's 3.5 seconds behind those guys, with Nigel Wood hoping to make something of it and get that extra position, although it looks like Cos has managed to pull away. Cos is carrying a 22 kilogram ballast, so clearly that's helping him out. I don't think Nigel Wood's got any. I've not got any figures for Nigel. But yeah, it looks as though Cos is doing enough to keep him away, so well done, old boy. So that's it then, as we see Rodders. Whoa, what happened there? I think he just about managed to get over the line then, so Rodders has managed to hold on to that position, thankfully, as we see Gretschel come over in 2nd, Rigel in 3rd, Cos with the surprise 4th. We'll definitely be having a word with him after this one. Nigel Wood in 5th, Orange in 6th, Dave Crew in 7th, Charger in 8th, so Charger's managed to make his way from 10th into 8th position. Well done, Charger. Rick Binnisley in 9th, FX UK in 10th, Mike Bull, our newcomer who I've not met before, in 11th, followed by Jake with a sad whimpering 12th. What is that all about? So Jake got the fastest lap. Rodders got the win, so congratulations to Rodders and Jake between them. So yeah, that was an interesting one. So as promised, I'm going to go drag down another VIP guest, somebody that is actually taking part in the race right now. Cos had a fantastic 4th place there. Quite the surprise for Cos. I'm not saying anything about his skill as a racer, but there's a lot of really fast guys out there, and he's not usually one of the guys that you see up the front. So it'd be great to get his input on what the hell happened and how he managed to get that phenomenal result. So I'll drag him down now. Cos, my friend, you are live. You are live and on stream. Please do not say fuck or bugger. How's it going, my friend?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm great, mate. So we just noticed you managed to pull in a 4th place.
Yeah,
what the hell happened?
Oh, I love that track, man. I just Brandis actually is such a great proper driver's track. You know what I mean?
Brands actually up.
Yeah, I'm so used to it as well. I love it. Just a shame it. Go on.
I was about to say, whereabouts did you qualify?
I'm not sure, 7th or something.
All right, so you were fairly fairly far up the grid as well then. So 4th was a nice sort of climb up for you.
That was a bonus, all right. Well, it was only because the grace that a couple of people had a bit of a kerfuffle at the start, and then during the.
Yeah, it did look as though a few guys were struggling out there. Most notably, actually, Jake Moore, so Speed Demon, our Resident Alien, actually finished dead last, I think, and he span off about 3 or 4 times. Do you think he was just not trying, or do you think he was struggling with the car and the track?
I'd say he's probably struggling with the car. I mean, I don't know. Knowing Jake, he's probably running without traction control, and even with traction control, his cars are sketchy.
So yeah, Charger was in here earlier. I thought that they'd got no ABS, no traction control, and he corrected me and said they do. But
yeah,
so you
factory.
think he's probably driving it hardcore without traction control.
I'd guesstimate, more than likely. The thing is, with these shorter races, if you spin out and you end up dropping loads of places, it's hard to get back up because you've only got 8 minutes.
Yeah, you've only got those 8 minutes. So we are on board with you right now, Cos. Do you want to talk us around the lap? Do you think you've got it in you?
I can do, yeah. I mean, this track's new to me, so I'm just getting used to it myself. But it's such a nice track.
It's new to me too, mate. So we can talk each other around if you like.
Pardon?
I said it's new to me as well, mate. So we can talk each other around.
Yeah. I mean, the first section's pretty smooth, mid-section's pretty tight, and then the last bits, if you don't get it right, you'll spin out. But drove the GT2 last night. The Cadillac round here is lovely.
Oh yeah, you had a little blast around in the car. If you picked the Cadillac for the next league, then
Yeah, that's my favourite so far. I find the Beamer and that a bit too slippy, and the Corvette doesn't perform as well as the GT3s, but the Cadillac's lovely, so stable and planted.
well, that's good news, mate. And yeah, I had a little drive in the Cadillac. It was really nice and easy to drive. I think Darren picked the Cadillac as well.
Maybe.
Commentator, I know he was interested in the Caddy.
No, in
have you got a teammate sorted out yet, then, mate?
Not yet, no.
So I've tried to get the track map up for this circuit. Like I'm having any luck. There might not be any track map data for this one, so. But not to worry. It looks as though it's a sort of fast, flowy, undulating track with quite a bit of elevation change as well.
It's a very technical track. There's some very tight corners and some very, like you say, undulating corners. So if you don't get it right, you'll spin.
Yeah, I imagine obviously with the elevation changes, that means that the grip from the front to the back is changing in sort of interesting and slightly more complex ways than if you were just on the flat. And I imagine in these cars that have quite a bit of power and a bit sketchy on the rear, that can make it quite a challenging drive. As we see cars go over the line there with a 1 minute 1 second 0.677, so that's put Cos fourth on the grid. Well done, Cos.
Cheers, buddy. Yeah, as you say, the undulations, not only have you got the weight transfer front to back, but because of the camber of the circuit, you've got the side transfer as well. So the weight transfer is going all which way, but.
So it'll be interesting to see how Jake gets on with this one then, if he's running no traction control, because that's going to make his job even harder, keeping that car sort of planted and stable.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Look like he's on. Go on, mate. You're all right.
I was just going to say it's going to be interesting for everybody because, like I say, this is a new track for us, and I've only raced it a few times, like 3 times I think so far.
Yeah, like I say, I think I've commentated on a race around here. I think Orange was in the booth with me, but yeah, it is new to me.
And it's not very wide. It's quite hard to get to pass on here, so you could end up with a lot of kerfuffles going on.
Well, hopefully we won't see too. I mean, a bit of door ribbon's absolutely fine. We did see a couple of incidents in. They did look like there was a bit of argy-bargy in the last one. It looked like somebody lost the rear end. But it was a couple of knocks and bumps in the first race as well. But it looks like everybody's starting to get settled in now, so hopefully there shouldn't be too much messy racecraft in this one. But you know, there's always a chance.
It's a funny car because it feels quite stable. Then you chuck it into a corner and then realise it's got a lot of kind of lift off oversteer. It's got strange kind of oversteer and. Yeah, lift off oversteer is terrible. If you lift off too much and chuck it into a corner, it will just want to spin on you. Yeah,
that's interesting. As we've just seen Rodders actually on TV go flying off as he was exiting a corner. He was doing a hell of a pace. So he's actually on pole right now as we see him go back to the pits with a 58.7, so significantly faster than the vast majority of the field. As we see Jake as well throwing in the towel then. So we've got 1 minute of qualification left then. Average lap time around here is about a minute, so we're looking at 8 to 9 laps, depending on how fast the leader gets around. Have you had any sort of bumps or scrapes with anyone? Is there anybody you're keeping your eye on tonight then, Cos?
No, I've been keeping it, tidy, and everybody I've been racing with has been respectful. So yeah, it's been good. So.
stuff. All right, so I'm just going to run down the board right now then, mate. So we've got Rodders in first, Jake Moore in second, we've got Ferguson in third, FX UK in fourth, we've got Rigel in fifth, Stefano Marazzi in sixth, Alex Kruger from Zero Force in seventh, followed by Gretschel, his teammate, Nigel Wood in ninth, Rick Binnisley in 10th, Dave Crew in 11th, Cars in 12th, our VIP in the commentary booth right now, and Charger in 13th. So thank you so much for driving us around, Cars, and giving us a little bit of insight into the car and the track. Wishing you a really good race, and I'm going to send you back to the general voice chat with the other guys, mate. Thank you for coming along.
No problem, mate.
Good luck, mate. Right, I need 20 seconds of garage time to get a drink, so I'll be right back. So red lights are on them. Oh, quick. All right, they're off. So we've got Rodders in first, followed by Jacob Moore in second, followed by Ferguson in third. We then come into turn one then, so not too much jockeying for position from the front runners. Looks as though Ferguson's managed to get the inside line on Jake now, as you see him get a little bit squirrely there. And lose a little bit of rear traction, and Jake Moore's managed to hold on to that position. So, yeah, a little bit of argy-bargy there, a little bit untidy, but these guys are obviously racing really hard. As we see somebody go flying off there, so who's that? I think that's FX UK, I believe. We've seen so FX down to 13th. That might not have been FX actually. That might have been Fergie. So I think that was Fergie who lost it. Ferguson down into 13th place, followed by FX in 14th. So it looks like they may have come to blows, or maybe FX had to swerve to avoid hitting into him. On board with Jake Moore then, who's chasing down Rodders. Rodders in first place, following a 0.5 half a second gap now, then coming into T1. Rodders pushing out wide with Jake getting a slightly shallower line coming into T1, but maybe losing a little bit of drive out of T2 as we see him coming through this fast flowing S's section over the undulating hills. Got to be careful not to push it wide and get on the gravel, as we see them both grab a generous amount there, and that slowed them down a little bit. Interestingly, I don't think that given. So Rigel 2.5 seconds behind, unfortunately not able to gain too much benefit from that little bit of dirty not dirty driving, but unclean driving. These guys getting in the gravel. Jake chasing Rodders down, and so tonight Rodders has just sort of run away with it, winning the first two races, and Jake not having too much luck, but it does look as though Jake's managed to pull his socks up and try and challenge Rodders and make sure that Rodders doesn't run away with it, as much as we like to see him win. But come on, Rodders, give somebody else a chance. No, but obviously he deserves to win. He puts in the effort, and he's got the skill to bring it. So, but yeah, Jake chasing him down. It does look as though Rodders has managed to extend that gap now to 7-8 tenths now. So interesting. But there's other stuff going on. So let's have a little look. So this is FX UK, who we saw have a potential incident earlier. Maybe had to dodge out of the way of Ferguson, who was sort of parked in the middle of the track after having a bit of a slide. Interestingly, he's following our guest VIP who came fourth in the last race. So that's Cos there in the blue and green, with Alex Kruger in 11th, just ahead of him, as we see Cos get fairly loose on the inside there. But he's managing to hold off FX quite well. Quite a hefty pack here at the back. What a car, a train of 1, 2, 3, 4, about 7 cars, so almost half the field there, all sort of jockeying and racing for position right now. Just watching Ferguson then, it looks as though Ferguson's actually managed to make some positions coming into those first couple of corners. He's all the way up into 10th position now. As we see him get a bit of argy-bargy there, maybe somebody breaks a bit too early in front of him. But yeah, that's Charger there in the red in 11th, as we see Ferguson go around the outside, but Charger's got the inside line. Then we're going to see Arger pop up the inside, so there's Charger there on the left-hand side, but now Ferguson's got the inside line coming to this right-hander, and he's going to be able to make that stick and hold on to that position. So well done, Fergie. That's a fairly clean and decent overtake, so well done. On board with Nigel Wood then. So Nigel Wood down in 8th position, challenging Dave Crew. So it was a 8/10, 1 to a second gap there. As we see somebody go flying off. So who's that? Is that Nigel Wood? Who is it? Who was that? Was it Cos? Oh, I can't make it out. They're all the same colour. Oh dear. Yeah, somebody came flying off there, but it looks like they managed to do a 360 and managed to get back on the track. So these guys are not only racing but doing sort of car ballet out there. But as we watch Cars up into 10th position, then I believe he sort of qualified 12th or 11th, so he's up 2 positions, chasing down on Fergie. We saw that incident earlier. As we see 3 minutes on the clock then, so over halfway race distance, as these guys are still pushing a really tight train of cars, all jockeying for that sort of mid-pack position, and nobody giving an inch really. Not a huge amount of time space on this track for overtaking, as Cos sort of pointed out earlier. As we see somebody go off then, so who was that? That might have been Charger, I think. Yeah, so let's have a look. So that's Charger down in 13th place then. Looks as though he grabbed a generous amount of that grass and is now down into 13th place. So unlucky Charger. Keep it on the great stuff, lad. Keep pushing and try and get some of those positions back. You've got 2.5 minutes, lad. You can do it. On board with Rodders then, our race leader, so let's just watch him for, let's just give him 20-30 seconds, just watch him take these sweeping fast lines then, so carrying a significant amount of ballast, Rodders then, so I think he's carrying about 76 kilos, but you can't tell because he's absolutely running away with this race right now with a commendable 8-second gap back to Rigel. So it was Jake Moore. Jake Moore is now down in 5th place, so it looks as though Jake has had another incident trying to keep up with Rodders, which is unfortunate because we were really hoping that he was going to sort of bring it to Rodders and challenge him for the lead in one of these races. But Rodders again just running away with it tonight with a whopping 9-second lead over Rigel. Rigel again in 2nd place though, so Rigel, take nothing away from Rigel. He's he's been a steady constant. Nipping at Rodders' heels, as it were, but he's not quite had the same look in terms of getting away. He's always been battling with someone sort of nipping at his heels, trying to get around him, and that has meant that Rigel's had to do a lot of defensive driving tonight, and that has obviously allowed Rodders to extend those immense leads that he's got. That and obviously the skill that he's got to get these cars around these particularly challenging circuits. "50 seconds on the clock then, so not much time left to go. Rodders again running away with that 9-second gap. Not looking like he's going to get challenged. A little bit going on at the back then, so we've got FX UK and Rick Binnisley having a bit of a kerfuffle there. It looks as though they may have come to blows because Rick's now down into 14th, or maybe Rick came off. It's difficult to tell, but Rick down into 14th and FX up into 13th. 17 seconds on the clock then, back with Rodders. Are we going to get another lap? I don't think we are. I think this is the final lap. Looks like he's about... Oh no, he's just coming over the line now, so he's got 7 seconds, 5, 4... Oh, looks like he's waiting on the line. He's going to have to do another lap. I don't think that's what he wanted. I think he wanted to end it right there, but unfortunately he's... Or has he? It's difficult to tell. No, he's still racing. Yeah, it's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. So that's meant that he's had to continue his race. So yeah, final lap then. Are we going to see some more jockeying for position then? So on board with Ferguson following Dave Crew. This is the challenge. This is the fight for 6th place. as we see these two guys coming around the first two corners. Dave getting very, very squirrely there, and that's opened the door for Ferguson. Ferguson's gone through into 6th place. A little bit of commentator's curse there on Dave Crew. I do apologise, but it was great to be there and see the action as we see Alex Kruger now having hoping to challenge Dave Crew for that next position. As we see Rodders come over, as we see somebody spin out there, but Rodders coming over the line then to get that win. So well done, Rodders. Another victory for Rodders with Rigel in 2nd, Stefano Marazzi in 3rd, Gretschel in 4th, Jake Moore, who we were hoping was going to do so much better, but 5th, not bad. Ferguson in 6th after having that huge off, so he must have had a hell of a fight for this race because he was way down in almost dead last and has managed to crawl his way back into 6th. Krug coming over in 7th, Alex Kruger in 8th, Cos in 8th for VIP for this particular race, Orange in 10th, Nigel Wood in 11th, Rick Bennisley in that beautiful yellow livery in 12th. Some way off in the distance, you've got Charger. And I believe FX may have retired. So FX Charger coming up now over the final turn. Yeah, come on, old boy, go on. Give it a whip. Go on, whip it. And over the line comes Charger. So congratulations to Rodders with the win and another fastest lap from Jake Moore, but unfortunately unable to convert that pace into a podium. But still another couple of laps to go, a couple of races to go. So anything can happen. So as promised, this is the VIP invitation round. So as we transition into the next race, we've got to pick somebody to come and have a word with us. He might be really mad. We might be able to distract him and maybe put him off the pace a little bit. If we pull down Rodders, that might upset him because he's got to talk to us and talk us around, and it might mean that he puts in a worse lap, and somebody else can have a go at winning a race. So let's pull Rodders down, but don't tell him I said we're trying to distract him. Oi, oi, Rodders, you are live on stream. Please
Hello.
don't say fack or bagger. How you doing? You all right?
I want to say both now. Yeah, I seem to be gelling with this car rather well, so...
Yeah. So I've just been sort of mentioning that you've won what two now, three
I've won
races
all-
now.
Pole and won all 3. Well, the speed get a pole as well.
Yeah. So absolutely flying out there, absolutely on fire.
Yeah, I've never had this happen before in the mini league, honestly. So I'm carrying a decent bit of ballast, but it doesn't seem to be affecting these cars too bad, especially in these short tracks.
So you can be honest now. You can tell me. Did you pick this car and track combination, and did you put in a week's worth of practice before this mini league? What's going on here?
No, Charger picked them. I guess just sometimes
yeah.
some cars just
Wink,
happen to
wink.
suit your driving style.
Wink,
And-
wink, nudge, nudge. Charger picked him.
I'm glad to announce there'll be a new league starting soon in the DTM 95s.
Yeah, there'll be another. We're cancelling the GT2s. We're throwing away the F1 league. We're not bothered about finishing. We're starting DTMs.
Yeah.
5 days a week.
Oh, no, to be fair aside, I actually enjoyed last week more at the moment and I was like nowhere. It was just great fun, getting some racing with folk I don't know, and so it's a bit of fun. But I'll take it. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's nice to just win, right? You got to get your dopamine hit every now and again, haven't you?
Okay, it's a wee confidence booster, but I can come on to this for a good bit of fun. So, but we'll wait and see. 2 races to go.
So we're currently on board with you now then, Rodders. Are you able to talk us around as you go?
Yeah, well, I'll try. So this track, it's the short version of this track, and I think there's 3-4 versions in the game. I think we only tend to drive 1 or 2 of them, and it's not a track we use mega often. So I'm not 100% sure about this track, but I'll start kind of talking about the corners the best I can. So from what I can remember, so I think down here we've got a fairly tight left. You've got to brake probably a bit earlier than you think. It's almost a bit blind. You can't see the apex in VR. There's a tendency to brake too late and go wide. Full throttle down this bit, which is a good fun wee section. and then into a fairly heavy braking section. Again, if you don't brake early enough, you just lose that apex. It's quite a tight, long corner. And you've got to get set up for this to get on the power as early as possible for the main straight. And then that's it. It's quite a short track back in the main straight. It's a cracking wee bank section. It's a track that I think we should race more. It's an unusual track and people find it hard to learn. So, in fact, this corner I don't even know where it is. And this is the, oh god, yeah, there'll be a corner there somewhere.
I've got to turn in at some point, and there's a braking zone somewhere. But oh no, we passed it. Oh well.
If you let me know where it is, I might get a quality lap in because I'm currently lost. Oh, somebody else lost.
It looks like you've got it zoned in. We can give you a lap. We can give you a minutes of dead air to get a lap in if you like. It does look as though
for the next one. Yeah, I still don't know where the first corner is.
Well, we'll shut up and give you the time when it comes round. Obviously, it does look as though everyone else has struggled to put in a lap as well. So we're 3 minutes and 40 into qualification, and nobody's managed it yet. So
yeah, I think the corners actually I was at the right bit, but it's almost a hairpin you're going down. So I'm going to go with that. I'll go slow into the first corner so I can actually make it, and then maybe get another lap in for a fast one. But there's no laps in yet at all.
So coming up to the final couple of corners then before the bank. So this one, this is the tight left-hander, then onto the bank. Make sure you're on the traction as early as possible. Boom. I'm going to shut the fuck up now and give you your moment in the spotlight, mate. Good luck.
Here we go. This will be a professional looking lap, this one. Yeah, I think I've got to, so I'm going to assume this is a hairpin of some sort. Made it!
Managed to keep it in, thankfully, so that's not an invalid lap. Nobody else has put in a lap yet, so.
See, I went wide there. It's so easy to go wide in that corner. In fact, it's a common thing with a lot of the corners in this track, the tendency to run wide on them.
A lot of late apexes, is it, or just difficult to spot apexes from the looks of it?
They're hard to judge visually until you're at them, so you have to suspend slight disbelief in what you need to do to get around the corner at the best speed. That corner there's just about getting the apex for full power at the right stage. Who's that behind me?
It's difficult to tell, but it could be cause.
No,
it's not cause.
It's somebody who's pretty damn quick. I've got to suspect it's Rigel.
It might be Alex Kruger, or it might be Gretschel.
I think he's in a better lap than me. He's caught me up. We'll soon find out. I think he's got a clean one too. Stealing my toe as well.
Stefano Marazzi, that.
Oh, he must have made a mistake. He didn't get a lap.
Yeah, so that's the first lap anybody's actually managed to put in then. So Rodders on 128.024. Well done, Rodders.
Oh, 13 thousandths behind.
Yeah, 3, 4. So Jake's managed to pip you by a second, 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, I fear my rain might be over. I'd say my rain might be over, but I've let you in a secret. Speed tends not to start as well, so I can sneak it and then hold him up.
Yeah,
and then he might spin again.
Yeah, he's had a pretty poor showing tonight. I mean, I'm sure he won't. I'm sure he'll agree. If I'm honest with you, he's been spinning off left, right, and centre. Seems to think that he might not be running traction control.
Yes, he forgot to switch it back on after we all switched it off in that Audi TT the other night. And they like a wee bit of traction. They're quite easy to spin even with it, to be honest.
So I'm just going to interrupt you then, mate. So I know we've got about 15 runners out there right now, but the results are in for qualification then. So we've got Jake Moore at first, Rodders, our VIP guest, in second, Dirk Gretschel in third, Orange in fourth, Alex Kruger in fifth, FX UK in sixth, and Rick Binnisley in seventh. And the rest of the field, another 8 runners, not yet put in a lap, although there is probably 10-15 seconds of quali still to go. So still a chance for guys to get a lap in, but otherwise they're going to be randomised at the back. Rodders, thank you very much for joining us in this sweaty, dirty commentary box. Good luck with your race, mate. I'm going to send you back to the Shadow Realm. It's great to have you along, mate.
Cheers, bud. Catch you soon.
So that was Rodders, our mad, crazy Scottish head honcho, the indomitable leader of RWB. He's not a dictator, often, but yeah, he's the guy who's responsible for running all these servers. Quite a tech-savvy guy, as we see. So I'm going to shut the hell up now. They're on the grid, red lights. They're off. So Jake Moore's going to get that start. As Rodders going to be able to get him off the line. So Rodders has moved up into first. As we see Rodders there in the silver with the silver and red wings, with Jake there in the silver and yellow. I say wings, but I mean mirrors. As we see them come through turn 2 together there. So that's on board with Jake again then. So a familiar sight is from many of the races then. So we've got Rodders there in the front in the silver, followed closely, hotly by Jake Moore, who's wanting to reclaim that first position that he worked so hard during qualification to get. As we see Rodders go a little bit wide there, but he has got the inside line coming to this right-hander. Is it going to be enough then to solidify that position? As we see Jake trying to go around on the outside, but not able to make it stick. But will he have the drive coming out of the corner then? So side by side then, coming into a left-hander then. So Jake's got the inside line as we see him pit Rodders then into first place. So well done, Jake, up into first place. But can he hold on to it? He's got a shallow line coming into the right-hander as we see him come into this tight right-hander now. So this is a tight right-hander. The final sort of left before the embankment. He's got a nice, tidy, tight line coming then into this left-hander now, and he's going to power ahead. And that's one lap of the Eurospeed Low Switch DTM short course. So still all to play for, with Rodders chasing down Jake Moore, but it looks as though Jake's managed to pit Rodders for now. Hopefully, Jake can keep it together and not spin out as he has done in the previous races. So come on, Jake, you can do it. As we see just in the background there then, so we're RWB Orange then, who's not driving an orange car for once, in third place then. So I think Orange was a latecomer tonight. He may have missed some of the earlier races, but he's looking to get into this fight now. He's already got himself a podium position. He's followed by this man, Dirk Gretschel, who's got a 1.2 second gap to Orange. But Orange will be wanting to close down that gap onto Rodders and Jake. And he'll be crossing all his fingers and toes, hoping that those two battling will give him an opportunity to get into that fight for the top spot. Well, let's have a little look down the board. So another latecomer tonight then. So RWB Taz, a staple RWB member. Top notch, this guy. He's actually my new team partner. So H-Tune was my partner for the F1 League, but my new partner for the GT2 League that's up and coming, starting on the 27th of November, I believe, will be Taz, and we together will be racing the P45 Competizione in the GT2 car class, bringing it to the rest of the RWB international club members, and hoping to bring home a trophy. Yeah, he's really switched on, this guy. He's been giving me a few tips on setup, and we've been, sort of chewing the fat, as it were, as we see him making a bit of a mistake coming into that tight right-hander. So that's where we saw Rodders have that funky incident during qualification where he went flying off to the right. It looks as though it's caught Taz out as well, unfortunately. But you've been on the great stuff, Taz. We know you've got it in you, mate, and I'm looking forward to racing with you in the next Saturday Night League. On board with Charger then. So this is Charger. And Alex Kruger there in 6th position. This is the battle for 6th place, as we see Charger just get a little bit of argy-bargy there with Alex. Give him a little tap up the rear end to say, hey, I'm here. Watch out, I'm knocking on your door. Charger running a decent race then in 7th place, with Alex Kruger managing to hold him off in 6th place as we see him come around the penultimate corner, coming into the banking left now. And so is Charger going to have the traction coming out of that corner? It looks as though Alex has managed to get down the power a little bit better than Charger has, but Charger has got the slipstream, so that might allow him to stick to the rear end of Alex as we see him come into this really tough left-hander. Alex has actually got a much wider line there and has actually opened up the corner a bit better than Charger, and that has meant that Alex has actually managed to pull away a little bit, but it looks as though Charger's got a slightly better line coming into this corner as we see Alex slowly but surely sort of pulling away now, although it looks like he's made a mistake there. He's gone wide, and that's given Charger an opportunity to close that gap as we see him coming down this straight, this back straight then. So is Charger going to be able to challenge? Alex seems to be so much better on the traction zones, getting the power down as we see him go wide again then. So this is an opportunity for Charger now to push it up the outside as we see Alex take a more defensive line just behind Charger. Then we've got Nigel Wood now getting involved in this in the dime livery. So this is Nigel Wood, Charger and Alex challenging for 6th position then. So Nigel Wood looking up the that's not Nigel, that's Nigel Wood looking up the inside of Charger. Charger looking up the inside of Alex Kruger as we see Nigel lose some rear traction then, as we see Alex Kruger manage to close the door on Charger there. So Charger still challenging as we see Alex just about managed to hold on to that 6th position then. So well done Alex. But Charger defending there from Nigel Wood and challenging Alex all in the same breath. So yeah, there's some really exciting racing from these guys. Let's have a little catch up then with our race leader then. So surprise, surprise, it's not Rodders. So Rodders down in 2nd place with Jake Moore, our resident club alien, managing to pull a 2.2 second gap on Rodders and has not spun out. So a minute and a half to go then. So another lap, maybe 2 laps to go. Rodders has got, you know, 2 second gap. So quite a bit of work to do if he wants to close down Jake and get into that battle for first. Short of a mistake, which we have seen Jake make a couple of those tonight, it looks as though he's got this sign sealed and delivered as we see him drift on the exit of that particularly fast left-hander. So Stefano Marazzi then, so one of the faster guys in quali we saw duking it out with Rodders during the qualification stage. He's running a good old race. He's in 5th place at the moment. Not too much challenging going on. There's a nice steady sort of 7/10 gap to Gretschel in 4th, who it seems as though hasn't managed to close down that gap to Orange. So Orange running away now, and oh, what the hell's going on with this TV camera? There we go. So there we go. We've got Orange holding that steady 3rd position then. So down to 15 seconds on the clock. Let's check in with our race leader then. So he should be coming around. Where is he? So all right. So this is going to be the final lap, I think. So this is the final lap then, on board with Jake Moore as we see him 3 or 4 corners now before the end. So we've got this fast right-hander, a small straightaway, as our American friends would say, into a left. So left-hander, tight left here. Tight left into the tight, fast right, into a tight right coming up. Yeah, so tight right, that's like a back marker. That might be Taz there in the sort of blue livery, with Jake coming around that sharp left now then. So onto the straightaways, we see him spin. Oh my god, Jake Moore, come on, he's going to reverse it, he's going to reverse. Can he do enough to hold off Rodders then? As we see Rodders, I can't believe it. What on earth we're going to have to get? So either he meant to do that, or we're going to have to get Jake in. As we see Orange now coming round as Jake's managed to hold on to it. So Orange came through in 3rd, Gretschel in 4th, Marazzi in 5th. As we see Charger now up into 6th, past Alex Kruger who came through in 7th, Nigel in 8th, FX in 9th, Cos, good old Cos in 10th, Fergie in 11th, Rigel Surprise result for Rigel, way back down in 12th. He's been right up there with the top boys most of the night, so he's clearly had an off one for this one. Rick's Binnisley in 13th, Dave Crew in 14th, and Taz bringing up the old rear. Bringing up the rear in 15th, so he's still got a little bit of time to make up and get over the line. But come on, old boy, get your foot down. But yes, Brothers again with the win. And Jake Moore, our resident alien, throwing it away on the final corner, just coming onto the sort of the embankment to come over the line. So. Yeah, quite the surprise result. But well done to Rodders. He stuck with him. He kept that gap low, and that allowed him to take advantage of Jake's mistake. So yeah, congratulations to Rodders. But it is the VIP guest night tonight, and as promised, I did say I would drag down someone after each race. So I've just got a message from FX. Interviews or just close after the next race? We'll have an interview. We're going to have an interview after. We need to drag somebody in after the next race. Well, congratulations to Rodders for the win, and Jake Moore again with the fastest lap. Let's get Speed in then, shall we? Let's have a word with Speed Demon and see what he's got to say for himself. Speed Demon, Jake Moore, you are live on stream right now. Please don't say fuck or bagger. How you doing?
All right, mate. Having fun.
Having fun? Well, it looks like you're having fun. We saw the kerfuffle on the final turn there. What the hell happened? Was that on purpose, or were you did you genuinely lose the rear end?
I just lost the rear, and it wasn't. I was sliding it coming out of there, in the previous laps, and just that time I just didn't catch it early enough, and it went around. So I just stuck it in reverse and went to the line.
So you've been drifting then tonight, then, have you?
Yeah, we had a race in the Audi TTs on Tuesday, and I turned the factory traction control system off. And it wasn't until that round that I realised I had it off completely. And I explained why I was spinning out once the tyres got really hot.
I see. Well, that was the first race then, but you've got that turned on now, right?
That was the first. Louse's Rings was the first race I had it turned on.
Ah, right. I see. Right, okay.
I just got on the power too early coming out of the last corner.
That's fair enough. And we did see you sort of have a little bit of a get a bit squirrely coming out of one of the turns just before that. So maybe the rears were getting a little hot, and that might be why you lost the rears. What do you think?
I was pushing it on that last lap. I wanted setting up a quicker lap. So
I see. Well, I've got you for the entirety of qualification, mate. We are now at Moscow Raceway Sprint. Are you able to take us around for a lap? That be possible?
We learn it at the same time. So I don't think I've done many laps around here.
Well, that's fine, mate. I mean, we've just sat in the. You don't have to talk us round. We can just have a little chat and a conversation while you get to grips with things, and you can give us a bit of insight and into your impressions of the corners, the track, the circuit, your sort of oh, what a beautiful sunset.
I don't like
going through your mind.
I have driven it before. It's, it's not one of the tracks, like the regulars. You got Monzas and the Brands Actors that you drive quite regular, so the track layout's fresh in your head.
Yeah.
This one, it's quite an oddball circuit, so you don't really see. You come to bits of the track that you recognise, like this section here. So I'm used to going straight up there, and it's like a really long straight. That.
Yeah. Is it an F1 track, this one?
I think it's been designed for F1, but I just don't think it's got it. I think it's just that.
It's just not quite safe enough. It doesn't quite meet the FIA standards, as it were.
Yeah, probably. It's one of them. They have some really oddball standards.
Well, that's fair enough, mate. Like I say, we're sat in the glove box, we're chilling, having a sip of water, getting my bearings again. Then, so we're at Moscow Raceway, Moscow Raceway in this sprint layout right now. It looks as though it's a fairly short lap around here, as you can see off in the distance, that beautiful sunset. So we're moving to the evening now. This is the final race of the event. Our VIP, Jake Moore, is looking to put in a reasonable lap at the same time as trying to learn or relearn this circuit. A circuit that's not, as he said earlier, fresh in everyone's mind. Doesn't look as though anybody else has had any issues there. Oh, like I spoke too soon, as we see somebody in the dime. And Jake, our VIP guest, also getting a bit untidy there, coming into that surprise left-hander, right? You said you're used to going straight on there, right? And then there's that left-hand, that sort of surprise left-hander.
Yeah, obviously I tried to play really late going into it. It didn't work. A nice 22-second gap behind me, so I should be able to get a lap in.
Yeah, you've got 3 minutes to go, mate. It's 1:10 per lap as we see Orange take pole from Rodders with a 106.8. So, some decent times coming in out there, and it's still all to play for. A couple of laps to go then, as we see you coming over the line. Then I'm going to give you a minute of dead air. Give you the time of day and let you concentrate and focus on this lap.
That car tightens on itself.
Yeah, it was a worrying sort of a couple of things coming together there. So traffic, the guy going off, and then that sharp left-hander all coming together to cost you quite a bit of time there. Another sort of difficult left-hander there as well, as we see you coming over the line. What's it going to be? Oh, you actually put one in then. Is that a... Oh yeah, that's a 1:07 then. That's put Jake Moore, our VIP, 7th on the grid with 1:46 still to go, and it looks like he's binned the next lap then. So if everything stays as it is, it looks like you're going to be 7th on the grid.
Yeah, just a story of my night.
Yeah, it's not been a great one, has it, mate? Are you carrying ballast tonight?
Yeah, but not as much as I usually do. I'm usually the one that's carrying the most, but tonight I'm not.
70-ish kilos, I think, tonight, isn't it? 72, I think. Let me get it up. I've got it here. I've got it here. It's loading. So
78, I think it is.
Jake Moore is carrying 78 kilos of ballast then. Rodders is carrying 6 kilos less for 72. He's in the lead now with a 106.25. That has been the story of the evening. So Rodders has absolutely dominated tonight. So thoughts coming into the race then? So you're going to be behind Gretschel and Marazzi. What's your thoughts going into T1 then? Speed, are you going to sort of play it safe, keep it clean, keep it tidy?
Just make it around.
Dive bomb. So nothing too crazy then, but we'll keep an eye out for you then. So thank you so much for joining us in the commentary box, Mr. Jake Moore, Mr. Speed Demon. Have a great race, mate, and I'm going to send you back to the Shadow Realm. So, quick rundown then. Rigel in first, Orange in second, Rodders in third, Alex Kruger in fourth, Stefano Marazzi in fifth, Gretschel in sixth, as we see Rodders take pole again off of Rigel. So Rodders up into first now. Jake Moore, our VIP guest, in seventh, Charger in eighth, FX in ninth, Rick Binnisley down in 10th, Fergie in 11th, followed by Dave Crew. There is another 3 runners out there, but clearly they've not quite managed to put in a lap yet. So this is the final race then, about a minute and 5 per lap. So we're looking at, well, an average time of 1 minute 6 seconds. So we're looking at 8 laps. 8 laps? No, we're looking at no. It should be it'll be 8 laps. Yeah, 8 laps then. Of Moscow Raceway sprint layout. Look, as we heard from our resident alien, quite an unusual layout. This one, not everyone's sort of favorite racetrack. As we see the lights go red, so we're going to be off in just a second. Red lights, then green, and we're off. So we've got Rodders in the lead, Rigel in second, followed by Orange in third. So following Orange there in the green and blue livery, with Rodders in the silver with red mirrors, and Rigel in the silver with yellow mirrors, as we see Orange challenging Rigel then, coming into this tight right-hander, looking at the outside, coming into this left-hander then, not able to make anything stick just yet, coming into this sort of S's section then, so on board with Orange, as we see Rigel pull a hefty sort of 6/10 gap, but Rodders, as we see Rodders go fairly wide there, but that might actually be the optimal line. We didn't actually get to see that during the qualification when we were on board with Speed, but it does look as though Rigel, who was a second behind, has now closed that gap down to half a second, as we see them come down the back straight. Somebody there in the background, looks like Ferguson's had an incident, and potentially I think that's Taha Mali as well, so Taha's sort of joined late now, and it looks as though he's had an incident as well at the back there, but didn't quite catch what happened. Back on board with, watching Rodders again then, up in the front, 8/10 back to Rigel. Again, just running away with it, you know. It's the story of tonight, as Jake was sort of pointing out, that Rodders was just running away with it, and he's now extended to 1.2, 1.3 seconds, so we'll keep an eye on that, but let's have a look what's happening down the back. On board with Dave Crew then, on the rear end of Taz, my teammate for the GT2 league. Looks as though he's managed to get Taz on the outside, then coming into this sort of double left-hander. Taz looking to perhaps potentially make that time back up again, but it looks like he's not been able to hold Dave off, as we see Dave go incredibly wide there. So Dave is off in the gravel. Dave, as we see him lose the rear as he struggles with traction coming out of the sandpit. That's unfortunate for Dave Crew, as we see him fall down the back of the pack now, down into it should be about 15th, but the board's flitting out. Oh, is that Rodders? No, it's not Rodders, it was somebody else. Whew, looks like Dave maybe nearly hit someone there. Oh, it might have been FX. So on board with Rigel then, chasing Rodders down. So Rodders pulling away now, 1.5 second gap as he drives off into the sunset, leaving everyone else, including Rigel, in his dust. Long, sort of weird, sort of sweeping. That's that tight left-hander there, and it's got a really strange exit, it would seem. And it looks like Rodders has clearly got the superior line, as we see him pump the power down and extend that gap out. Once we see him come into this fast left-hander, is Rigel going to be able to make up some time as he gets a really nice tight apex with a fairly decent exit runoff, but not enough to catch Rodders just yet. Our previous commentary VIP then, Cars down in 10th place. Having a good old evening, so nice and steady. Always sort of starting from the back, but always able to make 2, 3, 4 positions during the race due to folks, racing hard and crashing into each other. He sort of just hangs back, doesn't do anything too silly, and lets the other guys race so hard that they race each other off the track, and he just picks up the pieces after, and you can clearly see that pays off for him. He's not interested in winning a race, he just wants to have a good, consistent, steady race, and he's really showing us how that sort of pays off for him. He's doing well. Orange then looking to challenge Rigel, but not quite being able to make it stick. But right behind, we've got Rick Bennesley and Dirk Gretschel as we see Rick Bennesley go around Gretschel and is able to make that stick. But Gretschel looking to get Bennesley again, coming into this sort of tight left. I think this is coming up to, I think they've come over the line, so it's a double left now then. So on board with Gretschel then, it looks like Rick Bennesley is managing to sort of pull that gap out off in the distance there in the red Dime Libraries Charger. So Rick Bennesley and Gretschel hoping to close down RWB Charger and challenge him for that 7th place. Our VIP guest for this particular race then was Jake Moore, Speed Demon, our resident club alien. Not having the best night tonight, but he is up 1 position from 7th to 6th then, so he's managed to claw his way up one position on the grid, as we see him again getting very squirrely on the rear. So he's clearly having a bit of trouble with the power, laying down the power in this car, and that's clearly what's sort of costing the results this evening. You know, the back end sort of stepping out on him. Who's that? Is that Dave? It's like Dave's come off there. He was waiting very patiently off on the grass as he let his fellow competitors get around him, as we see him get blue flagged and move off the racing line and get out of everyone's way. So well done, Dave, for being a good sportsman. Back with Orange then, so we've got 1 minute 45 to go. I can't believe how fast these races go. So as we're sort of discussing a little bit of drama somewhere else, it's like, you know, 3-4 minutes has gone and that's half the race. But Orange in 3rd position is closed that gap to Rigel down to 3/10 as we see him come over the ultimate the final corner. As he gets on the grass, that's going to cost him a few tenths. As we see Rigel pull away, he's not going to have the drive of the slipstream now to get him into T1. So that's T1. I think this is T2. T3 is a double left-hander as we see them go left, and then another late apex left, keeping it nice and tight onto one of the back straights. Since this is the first back straight, this fast right-hander. It's not a back straight. What am I about? So it's a tight right-hander. It's the S's. So yeah, 2 right-handers. Then it's this like S's section. So left. S's section onto this back. All right, yeah, I ain't got a clue where we are. Sue me, take me out around the back of the shed and shoot me. I ain't got a fucking clue where we are. Now we're on the back straight. There we go. So I know what I'm talking about now. However, while I'm rambling on and talking crap, Rigel has managed to extend that gap to 6/10 then. So Orange struggling to make that time up. Back on board with our leader then. So this is Rodders, who is coming over the line then. So it's 15 seconds to go. Not enough time for him to sort of pull up and wait for the countdown clock to tick away like he tried in one of the previous races. He's going to have to do another lap. He's got a 2-second gap back to Rigel then. So Rodders is obviously flying away with it tonight, and he's on for another win. So this would be, I think, all 5 races. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but five races at the front. So he's had a hell of a night. Had a clean sweep and just taking everyone to the cleaners. So well done to Rodders as we see him coming up on. I think that's Dave Crew, the back marker, potentially, or it might be Taz. I think. Yeah, looks like that's Taz who's gone off into the to the shadow realm. As we see Speed Demon take Alex Kruger on the inside. Looks like there may have been some contact there, but it looks like Jake Moore's managed to move from 6th into 4th position. So well done, Jake. As we see Rodders come over the line in 1st place as he gives it a wobble. Well done to Rodders. Rigel in 2nd again. We've got Orange in 3rd. Speed Demon, Jake Moore, our VIP for this race in 4th. Alex Kruger in 5th. Stefano Marazzi coming up in 6th. We've got Charger now being challenged by Gretschel over the line in 7th. Gretschel in 8th. RWB Cars bringing up the rear in 9th. So he's actually managed to gain a position since last time we saw him. Rick Bennesley in that beautiful yellow in 10th. Fergie, who's had a bit of drama this evening, I think, bringing up the rear in 11th. followed by Taha Mali, who we're going to see coming through around the back there. So that's Taha Mali in the black, coming over the line in 12th. And somewhere off in the distance is FX UK, followed by Dave Crew, who's way back, like 39 seconds off FX. So I mean, he might have actually finished. And Taz as well. I think those guys are actually done. So, Rudders has won again. What an absolute legend. That was the final race. So I think Rudders has absolutely completely and utterly cleaned up tonight. So congratulations to Rudders. That's a hell of a performance for him. It looked as though Jake was going to challenge him at the raceway, but he actually lost the rear end and tried to finish in reverse. But Rudders managed to obviously pip him and get the win. So well done to Rudders. With Rigel coming round through in second and Orange in third for this race. Rigel, it's safe to say that Rigel would have got second for this particular mini league. But if you want the full results and rundown, come over to RWB's Discord. It'll be in the links, and you can see the race results and check them out in detail then. So for the final race then, Rudders got the race win, and the fastest lap was again Resident Alien, Jake Moore, Speed Demon. So congratulations to those guys. And I'm going to pick somebody else then, another guy to come and have a word with us in the commentary box. And I'm going to be somewhat selfish, and I'm going to drag Taz, my new teammate for the GT2 races, down into the commentary box. Taz, my friend, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks, Tom.
Yep. You are live on stream right now. Please don't say fuck or bagger. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Just missed. Carry on.
I was going to say, it looks like you were a latecomer to tonight's mini league. How many races did you manage to get in?
Just the last two.
And how did it go? It looked like you were struggling on the final race, so it looked like you were sort of way down in last. Were you struggling with the car or the track layout?
Well, to be honest, I haven't done a lot of racing on race until I've gone on with you boys, and I hardly know hardly any of the tracks, so so I was just cruising around really, learning the track in my own little way really.
So it's more of a. I was going to say it's more of a practice race for you then. It's not about being competitive. It's about learning the track, getting used to the car, getting used to the physics, and just taking your time.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking to the lads. I was in the last race. I was 11th and then ended up finishing last because I kept cruising along. But I enjoyed myself. It's the main thing.
Yeah, it looked like you were having fun, mate, and you were staying out of everyone's way while you were sort of cruising along. So hats off to you for respecting everyone else's race.
Yeah,
and keeping your nose clean.
Yeah, I saw the leaders, so I went on the long version of the track just to get out of their way.
Yeah, that sort of long straightaway bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I just wanted to drag you in and talk to you about the next league. So I've sort of hinted at it and teased it during this chat. Obviously, we've still got one more event to go for the Formula One League, which is this weekend, Saturday, 9:30 Greenwich Meridian time. The final race at Suzuka. But following that, then, so I think there's going to be a small 2-week break. And then on the 27th, I think, of November, starts the new Saturday night league, the GT2 series, where myself and yourself, Taz, will be taking part. We'll be teammates in the race.
Yes.
How do you feel? How are you feeling about this new league that's coming up?
Yes, I'm looking forward to it, mate. It's my first actual proper Saturday league with you guys. I've been with you guys for a while, but with family commitments and stuff like that, I just couldn't commit. But for Bullocks to it this time, I am going to put my name down and join the thing.
Cool. It was going to be great to have you out there, mate. More the merrier. And as we've seen tonight from your your racecraft. You race clean, you race fair, you race for position. That's all we ask of anybody that comes along to an RWB run event. And you have definitely shown that you've got the minerals, as it were. How do you feel about the car? So we'll be racing in the P45 Competizione, the Panini Farini bastardized Ferrari, essentially.
Yes,
Not a very popular car, but a lot of fun to drive.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant to drive. I love driving it. It's going to be well good fun over the or whatever how many rounds it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be well good fun. Can't wait to dig in and see how I get on.
Absolutely, and we've still got plenty of spaces left. We are looking for club members and other club members and other people out there in the sim racing and race room community to come and join us. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking about having a pop, get over to our Discord, get in general chat, have a word, say how do I sign up for this league. We've got 22 competitors already signed up and raring to go. It's a short one with a chance to be a short one with a chance to be extended. 4 races planned thus far. But yeah, it should be a good, fun evening.
Yeah, I think if the 4 races are well popular, I think it will go on to 6, won't it?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. So thank you for joining me, Taz. I've now got to accede my position and give charge of the spotlight who's come to read out the scores on the door. So welcome back to the commentary booth, Charge. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I was just wiping the sweat off my brow. It was tough racing, some tough tracks, and I picked them like a dickhead.
Yeah, it looks as though you were sort of mixed up in the middle, and lots of jockeying for position. Sometimes going back, sometimes going forward, but always on the grey stuff and challenging. And it looks like you've come away fairly well, I would say, for yourself.
Surprisingly,
for yourself.
Yeah, well, yeah, I could have done better. I had a couple of shots, but hey yo. But the scores by quite a big margin, actually, 38 points is Rodders, and then second, third, and fourth are pretty close. You got Rigel with 70 points, Dirk Gretschel 69, and Speed Jake Moore on 65. Then fifth, sixth, and seventh are close as well. So you got Stefano Marazzi, Alex Kruger, Orange. Then I'm in eighth with 48 points. Nigel Wood in ninth with 47. Cos with 47. Joint ninth, really. Fergie with 43 in 11th. FX with 37 in 12th. Dave Crew, which is unusual for Dave Crew. He's usually up the front with...
it looks like he was struggling with the car tonight.
Yeah, 36 points in 13th. Unlucky for you, Dave. Rick Binnersley was struggling as well tonight. I was watching. He was making me laugh. 33 points in 14th. Mike Bull, newcomer tonight. I think his name's Moon Pig or something like that. He only did one race, 7 points. Taz, I think you only did 1 or 2 races, didn't you? You got 6
I only
points
did
in
the last
16th.
2.
Yeah, and Taha did the last one. He got 6 points in 17th. So yeah, it's Rodders dominated.
Yeah, he absolutely ran away with it, and we were hoping that Jake would get him to at least one race, but then he lost the back end on the last corner.
I was in this first race I joined. I was quite high up, and then I spun it, so I got dropped right back. Speed was flying up behind me, so I was trying to push to get away from him or get to a point where he could just pass me. And I got to the final straight, I looked at my mirror, and he's just lost it. And then Rodder's just laughing at him going past.
It was a good show from Zero Force Racing again. Got 3 in the top 6.
Yeah, it'd be great to get those guys in. Get those guys in for some of the commentary stuff,
Yeah, I think Tiger was trying seeing if maybe do a competitive league against him or with him or whatever.
Well, I'll say this right here, right now. If you're watching this Zero Force, you need to get yourself signed up for the GT2 league that's happening in the next couple of weeks and come and bring it to RWB, because it'd be great to have some competitive racing with those guys in a properly organised league.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in a longer race. I mean, you know, those mini league, you're scrabbling for positions. The accidents happen. So on a longer sort of, you know, endurance type race, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, I'd like to see how it panned out because they're pretty good races. They race hard.
Absolutely, you know they're consistently in the top quadrant, as Tiger would say. So yeah, you know, clearly they've got some pace, and it'd be great to see those guys duking it out with the best from RWB. But
Just a shout out to Martin Peterman as well. So I hear he was at some concert tonight, and he's a little bit pissed, so he couldn't race.
a bit too drunk, you mean?
Yes, too drunk.
Yeah,
Yes,
we had a few. We had a few too many bevies.
he's had a
Well,
few
if you're watching this,
sherbets.
Martin, yeah, great to have you along, mate, and we look forward to seeing you next week. But we're going to get this stream closed down then. So thank you to everybody that took part. So big special shout out to all my VIP guests that I've had in the commentary box tonight. Special thanks to Charger for organising, FX for obviously making sure that the stream runs nice and tidy and on time. Big shout out to Tiger for organising the commentary and you know, fostering this community. And obviously to our head honcho Rodders, who had a phenomenal race evening tonight and basically took everyone to the cleaners. But that's it. So watch out for the FX17 race this Saturday, kicking off at 9:30 Greenwich Meridian. It's the final round at Suzuka. Just remember, race clean, race fair, race for position, race RWB. He's been Charger.
Evening, Hacks.
Good night, everyone.